I've been a doctor for 30 years. I do this. This is what I specialize in. Boom, 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 boom.
332nd case of this particular style of incident.
The child's life-threatening brain injury was intracranial bleeding in multiple sites and severe cerebral.
You know what? You didn't think he was going to die?
Friends, today's stupid bastard is Eddie Duggan III. Anterious Miller was 14 months old when Eddie called 911 stating the boy had stopped breathing. Now in this video, I have his police interview. It's audio only, but you'll see all the crime scene photos. The police are going to question him on how the child got all these injuries. The audio quality isn't the best. Sometimes there's some window noise. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be frustrated. Please don't blame me. But we owe it to Anterious to at least hear his story.
Saw on your face. When you said you went in there and he was at the window, I can almost picture it happening. You want to go back to bed, you go in there, you get him, you're gonna pick him up, bring him back out there. And he did it kind of hastily, and he fell. And from that point on, he didn't act right again. And you got scared. And that's why we're here today. But we need you to tell us that I can't just make that shit up on my own, because the evidence is a little more leaning towards the other type of scenario. So if that's what happened and you got scared because you're like, oh shit, I've been dating this lady for less than a year. Here I am watching her 14-month-old baby, and now I'm dead. But how do I, like I said, how do I tell that story for you? You have to tell that story for you. You have to get over that hurdle. And you got to remember she deserves this too. Because, we still got to talk to her again. We have to tell her what happened. Okay, so you didn't show them. But what about the first story? Is that close to what really happened? Same person. Huh? Same person. I'm talking about where you went into the bedroom and he was in there and he got up and you were taking him out of the couch.
There's something there.
Did he fall at that point? I don't think so. No, you know what happened. Did he fall at some point in the morning? I can see him. I can't tell you when he jumped from the window. I can just tell you that it happened. When did he fall? And was it an accident or was it on purpose? He fell, but it was after I went. I remember that. 100%? Yeah. Okay. Prior to you finding him on that couch, in your words, unresponsive, something happened. You've agreed, you shook your head about 20 times that did happen. What I can't get you for some reason to understand is that you have to tell me that. I can't do it for you. I said all I'm offering is what we call them, they're just the life experience scenarios where people have gotten scared in the past and they've walked themselves into a bad corner and all the evidence is saying blah, 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 and they're lying. And there's no way around it. Any reasonable person is going to assume that you're lying, or actually they're going to know based on what we're showing. Okay? So you either get to tell a good story that fits in there somewhere, or you're lying. And I'm not personally attacking you, Eddie. I'm Chad Ricks. I know y'all man. Detective Ricks is telling you from 15 years of law enforcement experience. I done heard of you. Yeah, I've been accused on for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you from personal experience that there's a little part of this truth that if you told it, it would fill in all the gaps, and it don't make you a cold-hearted, premeditated murderer. It makes you a guy that made a mistake. But you have to get over the hurdle, bro.
And you know what holds people back a lot of times from telling that one little thing is they're afraid their family is going to think that I can't believe you did something like that. Or that you're afraid Michelle's going to think that you're a bad person. When really, we know it's a proven fact that people that don't get sleep and they're deprived of sleep, a lot less patience. It's a lot easier for a split second for something to happen. Our SWAT team, they make them stay up for a whole week straight just for that particular reason to see if they can mentally handle it. Okay? I've already talked to Michelle, and I already knew that you didn't hardly ever get to sleep. Right? I'm telling you right now, that alone is enough. When we get called out and we're working for 2 straight days, we about to go off on each other all the time. Okay? So in a situation like that where it's already pressure and you're not getting sleep, all that shit, all of it adds up to a split-second mistake. That's what this is, okay? And I know it's a split-second mistake. Okay? What you gotta understand is this, okay? A split-second mistake is not you taking a gun and shooting somebody, right? That's not what we're talking about here. A split-second mistake. I'm not saying that. I truly don't think you choked Anterious to death. Okay, that wouldn't be to me. That's not a split second. Okay, a split-second mistake is everything going on. in, day out, over and over. You had to bathe these kids, feed these kids every day, and you never got any sleep. Okay, we already established that you stayed up probably all night that night. If anything, you got a little bit of sleep, or you were up all night. You're trying to sleep, Anterious gets up. I already know how crazy Anterious is. I already know how wild he is. I've seen it myself. That's too damn much for a person to have to take care of every single day when they're not your own kids.
And
all right?
You want them to wake up. We already established
I'm just telling you, man to man, okay? We have kids. My own kids drive me nuts. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I'm glad to go to work because they drive me nuts. Any person on any given day, any good person, any police officer, I don't care who you are, for that one split second can do something they would never have ever done again in their life. Does that make you a murderer? No. Does that make you a person who makes a mistake? Yes. But what defines that at this point is what you tell us today. Okay? If you keep acting like we're stupid and we don't know what we're talking about, what can I do? Then Eddie, what can I do? Exactly. Then what can I do? How can I go back and say, of course you're scared. Of course you're thinking, shit, I'm going to tell them what's happened, and I'm fucked, right? That's what you're thinking in your mind, all right? What happened, happened. I can't change it. You saw those pictures. I can see in your face. You truly care about Anterious. You care about all of them.
And you feel bad for what you did. It was there. I saw it in your face too. But you really got to get over this.
It's either this. Did you make a mistake that day? Or did you do something intentional? That is, bottom line, is the only thing we want to know at this point.
Well, what
That's it.
5 minutes into this conversation? What do we know a lot of guys will try to hold out and do their little thing. I told you 5 minutes into this conversation, did I not? Is this a premeditated evil person who committed a heinous crime against a child? Or was this a mistake?
I don't think you abuse those kids. There's no signs you ever abused them in the past. There's nothing like that. I talked to Michelle. She told me, no, he was good to the kids. You spanked Dante like one time, and she said, don't do it again. You used to get on to her for spanking them. She told me all that. She didn't paint you as a bad person at all. Okay? So that tells me right there. All that tells me, okay, if this person trusted you enough to watch her kids every day, and she told me how good you were with the kids, then I know this has got to be eating at you because for one split second, something happened that never should have happened. And as a result, Anterious is dead today. Okay? But does that make you a murderer?
Do you feel like you're a murderer?
Okay, exactly. Don't force my hand into something because you can't tell me exactly what happened.
You understand?
And that's what frustrates me, Eddie, because I know that you're not just a straight-up murderer. You're not that guy riding down the street popping rounds at people. I've seen your record. I've talked to Michelle. I've talked to other family members. You didn't abuse those kids, right? For that split second something happened, you panicked, you freaked out, and you didn't know what to do because you were scared you were going to get in trouble. But you know what? If this makes you feel any better, it wouldn't have changed anything, okay? It wouldn't have changed anything at that point, all right? That split second mistake, you couldn't have fixed it, okay? I'm giving you that right now. I'm going to give you that right now. You couldn't have fixed that.
You could have did that. You would have had the hospital when that mistake happened. Okay.
But you got to accept it. You got to accept what you did that day. I mean, you have to. Whether it's to yourself or to us, you got to accept that. And you want to know even more than I know? Because you can't even say what it is. It's hard for you to even say it.
I don't know what. Okay, what about the shaking? Because sometimes, like what I tell you just about the marks, it's the same thing with the shaking. What it would take to shake me to death is nothing like what it would take for a baby.
It doesn't take much at all.
Okay, if you picked that baby up when he walked in that bedroom and you brought him back out and lay down, there's a potential. Listen, I'm just trying to give you the scenarios. You went back home. Then you go back to sleep. It hurt. That's strange.
Well, that's like everything. The team kind of like rubbed his ass. By your side, but I see that was his team. So I can't even imagine.
Was he not crying at all?
Yeah, he was crying a little.
He was crying a little. Was he hard to soothe? No, easy to soothe.
Pretty much all you got to do is hold him.
But I would assume he wouldn't want to hold him forever.
It kind of like latches me to hold him.
I guess you see the dilemma around that, right? I mean, I think you're making a decision it's not telling us that one little critical detail, and that's going to leave it up to our imagination and the evidence. Not imagination, that's a bad word. You're leaving it up to the physical evidence that we're seeing and the end result of the situation. Okay?
It's hard to admit it. It's hard to probably even admit it to yourself. Maybe you've been trying to tell yourself that since April.
You can stay out here if you want. I know that it would be a huge hurdle to come over. You know how many people that have sat in front of me and have to jump over a hurdle bar? That I broke down after hours and started crying and wanted to get it off the chest, and that told me later how good they felt to get it off the chest. And I understand that that would be a huge hurdle because it would be a huge hurdle for me. Do you understand that? I'm a human being. And I get it. I know what self-preservation feels like. I've been having self-preservation in my system since I was old enough to remember. Alright? And you're relying very heavily on that right now. And you're not seeing the big picture. You're not seeing the real big picture. And I'm never going to be able to come back and explain that to you, but you're going to see the big picture on your own at some point. You understand? That's fine. That's fine. I get it. I get it. But you're going to end up seeing the big picture, bro. And you're going to look back and go, I should have listened to this. Chad Ricks and Mike Connors gave me my chance to get who I really am out there on the table. You know? And
I think we've given you more than what we give most people, to be honest with you.
Fair. Is there anything? What about a shake? What about a real stiff jerk and you fell down? Any of those things. You're gonna have to, I need you to come up with what happened. I'm not being a dick anymore, but there's no really point.
I'm not gonna play that. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what we're talking
I'd
about.
rather
You're making a choice on whether or not.
Honestly, Eddie, I'd rather you say, I'm just not gonna tell you. And I'll respect you way more than tell me you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just being honest.
Yeah, I don't think we gotta play the beat around the bush game anymore. I agree with him. I think that David Connors is being straight up. I'm being straight up. You know, you got to make a choice right now whether or not you want to tell us and let us present a true and factual story to the state attorney's office as they're deciding what all happens with this case. And do we want to be able to present that you're 100% cooperative and 100% remorseful? And to be 100% cooperative and 100% remorseful, you have to tell the truth, give the family an opportunity to know what really happened that day, and yeah, you can then legitimately say, and I wish I wouldn't have done blah. Whatever it is. So right now, it's self-preservation. There's that eliminates the ability to have true remorse. You may feel bad about it inside, but remorse is to own it and deal with it like a man. And I'd like you to do that, Eddie. And I think you want to do that. Like I said, that self-preservation is holding you back right now from doing what you know is right. You know Michelle deserves the truth. You know that little boy deserves the truth to be told. And you're the one that has to tell it. Come over here. I can't hear you. What'd you say? You tell me what you did. Well, then tell me what you did. You know what? Listen, every time you tell me I didn't do that, that's what you did. You're telling yourself in your mind, but that's what you did. I'm not telling you what you did. I'm saying whatever you say, you do that, that's what happened, and you're trying not to let it come out of your mouth.
You've been trying to tell yourself this since April.
Okay. Like I said, I'm standing here with you, man to man. And I've played all the facts out and honest with you. Alright? And I've been completely 100% honest with you. And I still believe that Michelle deserves the truth, that the baby deserves the truth, and that you should tell the truth for your own personal well-being. Because that's how you get it out. That's how you stop worrying about it every single night. But every time you're about to tell me, you go, I didn't do that. Because you don't want to believe that you did. That's all it is, bro. You don't want to believe that you did, but you're forgetting that we're human beings. And we lose our temper sometimes, and we make mistakes.
It even happens with kids, man.
It does.
More so than it usually does with adults. You know? That's the thing.
We've had more of these in the last 6 months.
And until you've been in that situation, and it's usually the same story. It's a person who's watching kids that aren't theirs all day long, every day. You know, that takes a toll on somebody mentally that people don't understand unless they're in that situation. And it's always the same thing. They don't ever get any sleep. It's not a coincidence. That's because you deprive someone of their sleep and put them in a stressful situation. They're not themselves. That's a proven fact.
And we can't judge somebody on 5 seconds, but we got to think about it. Not very many people deal with the side of people like we do. You understand? Not only am I human and I have a temper problem myself, and I made mistakes because of my temper, but on a daily basis I have to see that side of humanity. And I would say 85% of the people that I stand in front of really made a momentary mistake. And you are going to change drastically when you finally get it off your chest. And you're never going to hear or find people that are more receptive to it than us because we deal with it every day. And we can present your story. You're never going to get that opportunity with normal people. You have to come to people like us. Because we're going to present it as what we just told you. We understand. You're a human. Everybody makes mistakes. And they're all different. But everybody makes mistakes out of anger. You have to tell it, because I think Michelle deserves to hear it.
The evidence we have it doesn't lie. It's all factual, all proven facts that cannot be manipulated, changed. The time's going to be right. Okay? Doctors will get up there and say, I've been a doctor for 30 years. I do this. This is what I specialize in. Boom, 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 boom.
About 332nd case of this particular style of incident.
Then they're going to say, then when they ask us, what did Eddie say when y'all talked? What are we going to be able to say?
You know what I'm saying?
What are we going to say? He kept saying, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. Yes, he was scared. He didn't call 911. Yeah, he put Anterious in the shower. Yeah, no, he didn't go next door to try to call 911 there. Yeah, he took a picture on the iPad, but nope, he didn't do anything prior to that. How is all that going to look? I mean, nobody's that stupid that they're going to say, man, that makes sense.
Nobody. So basically, in a nutshell, the story is there. Your only choice is whether you get to tell your story and be a good person and clear your conscience and prove that it was a mistake.
The truth.
Tell me the truth.
What was it that happened to actually lead up to Anterious?
I know that you would listen. Come here, stand still. I know that you would rather me say it so that it would be easier for you to say. But you got to understand, and I know what you're doing. Trust me. You're not the first person to try to get me to say it for them first, so that they can just agree with it and it's out. Do you understand? All right, but you know what happened, and I know it's difficult. I'm not fucking with you right now. I tell you that I'm almost a little heartbroken for the baby and for you right now in the heart. Okay, because I know how hard it's going to be for you to say what you have to say, but you got to say it. Once you say it, it's out and it's clear. And your remorse is going to shine too. And I don't give a crap if you cry on my shoulder.
Do you think it's going to surprise us when you tell us what really happened?
Do
you think we don't already know?
You understand that, right?
Do you think we should have to pull it out of you this hard?
Not really.
Do you think we're just guessing right now, Eddie?
We deal with people that literally spend months planning and executing crimes and trying to cover them up. You understand the difference in that?
That's a completely different scenario.
That's not a human mistake. That's not, that's not an emotional mistake. In the moment mistake. That's a fucking cold-blooded murder. All right? And they don't have remorse either. You know what they do for the whole time? Same stuff. I don't remember exactly where I was that day. I don't remember exactly. Oh, that makes sense that you got me on video standing outside the door because the neighbors got video of me there with a gun. But no, I didn't kill nobody. You know, that's what they do. Even though the evidence, you got her fingerprint in the blood inside the house. So you present that to them, and you know what they do? The same thing. Even though there's overwhelming evidence to suggest what has really happened, they play the hardcore role, and then what happens to them happens to them. That's their choice. But I know that I can't tell you the story. I can't completely tell it to you. I gave you motivational stuff to get you in the right direction so that you understood. You have to tell me. Tell me what made you mad at it. Tell me why.
What frustrated you?
What frustrated you?
You want to know my guess is sleep. You hadn't had any sleep. That's my guess. That's usually, we specialize in these cases. Everyone we get in our unit, we're the ones that work them. Because I think we understand usually how that person's mind works and what's really going on in their life. Because there's usually a bigger reason why. And I think I've already told you exactly what I think it is. Your ass wasn't getting any sleep, and you had to deal with 2 kids all day, every day, and one of them was wild.
You've seen that, right? You know what you're seeing in your head right now? You've seen what happened about 25 times. And I know how hard of a hurdle it is to say it, but that's what you're seeing. But from an outsider looking in, you saw, even if you were outside of yourself looking in, you still know what happened. Even if it wasn't your normal self, even if who you normally are, even if it's not what you are, even if it was like a dream, it happened. You know what I'm saying? And you know. And you know. And if that was your baby, would you deserve to hear the rest? And if the scenarios were reversed, if it was your baby and she was watching the baby and the same stuff happened, would she deserve to know the truth? Or would you deserve to know the truth in that scenario? Would you think it was your God-given right to know the truth? And would you expect her to do the right thing and tell the truth? Particularly when the truth's already going to unfold anyways in evidence. You understand that? The truth is going to unfold in evidence. Well, then you tell me what you did. You did something. Bro, why are you doing this?
Tell me I didn't do that.
Well, what's holding you back from telling the truth?
Something you need to give us a little bit of an input here to tell me why you can't just get over there. Tell me the truth.
It's one of two things. You're not telling the truth because you think that it's going to get you in some bigger trouble, or you think that everyone's going to judge you. Michelle and all of them are going to think bad of you and your family. And it's one of those two reasons. It is. I mean, that's... Your actions that day already show me that something happened. If I didn't have all the medical reports, okay, that particular night when they sat down and talked to you, they didn't have all the stuff we have today, right? And even that night they knew enough, okay, based on what you told them that night. Now we fast forward all the way to where we're at today. I showed you that stack of medical reports, right? Okay, I'm not bullshitting you, dude. I showed it to you. We haven't lied to you about one thing.
Eddie knows that we're not lying about one thing.
And if you've heard Chad Rick's name, I'm sure you've never heard someone say Chad Rick is a liar. Okay, because we're straight shooters, man. We don't lie. That's not how most of us are. All right. Yeah, you might come across a bad cop every now and then who just tells you they're telling you the truth and they might be lying to you. All right. We ain't those two guys. All right.
That's why we brought our proof with us in case you did.
Yeah. Okay. So
that story.
Hold on. Back then when they talked to you, okay, there was enough then to say this ain't right. Okay. The bruises that he had on him. The bruises that started showing up on him after the fact, they weren't there before, okay? They weren't there the day before like you're telling us today. They just all started showing up then and they got worse throughout that night. All right? So that's out the window, okay? So, number one, listen to me. The bruising that I'm talking about, the bruising on his face, around his neck. Okay, well, listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you this, okay? All the injuries on the face and everything were not there. They didn't show up until after the fact at the hospital, and they got worse throughout that night. Yeah, there's bruises on the face also. Okay, so you take all that, fast forward to where we're at today. All right, all the medical reports, us sitting down talking today, the interview they had with you before, with all you changed your story so many times last time, right? And I told you that I'm willing to squash that. All right, if you were straight with us today. But you're not being straight with us today, so we're still back to square one.
That's the most likely scenario with the prison. That's the most likely thing to happen. Okay? I'm just telling you from the physical evidence. Listen, when they get up there in court, what are they going to do? They're going to look at the physical evidence, and they're going to give an opinion in the most likely scenario. Right? This is based on this, and this, based on bleeding, and all the different findings they have, based on the bruises and no locations that didn't show up until after you got to the hospital. We're going to tell the story that you want us. In our own way, based on the evidence, okay? With no consideration of whether that was a momentary act, because I don't know anymore. I don't know. Huh? You got to give me an explanation. As far as you did not tell us how the injuries occurred.
You're right. You told us what you did. It goes back to what I told you in the room. You have told us what you've done, but you mixed it all around into wrong places. But you have told us what you've done. You're right. You shook Anterious. You did shake him, just like you said you shook him. Okay, but you're moving things around in your story. That's the problem. Okay.
And you did. That's true. I agree with that. We both agree with that. It just happened before you say it. As far as in the timeline of whether or not he was not breathing. That's the deal. That he stopped breathing when we showed him.
He stopped breathing before.
Something happened before that to make him stop breathing. It wasn't a medical autopsy had been done. He didn't have a medical problem. His medical problem was as a direct result of no one else did. And they've already are 100% sure they could not before 4:30 in the morning when someone else wasn't. It happened in the right before, and then 30 hours later. Yeah. That's the last time someone else was at your house besides you. Right? I agree. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The only person that could have caused the injury was you.
Michelle didn't leave the house till like 6.
Whatever she left at. The point is, you're the only person in the house that could have caused the injuries. Because he would have been done making normal communication, walking around, playing, smiling, all that stuff. It would have been done.
In the house, I wake up and
you already
Okay,
said
we're not talking about other days. We're talking about that specific day.
Nobody came out with you on the recliner and picked up a baby and shook a baby to death or choked a baby to death beside you and didn't wake you up.
And then took a picture on the iPad and then left. I mean,
You hear what I'm saying? You can make whatever argument to us right now to try to save yourself in the long run, but none of those things are ever going to pan out to a true defense. That's why we're trying to give you an opportunity to tell us.
I mean, at this point, I'm gonna have to move forward because I was wrong about you. Maybe you didn't care about Anterious like I thought you cared about him. Okay, because I haven't seen you shed one tear for Anterious. Okay, but you haven't shed one single tear for him. You got to understand, and you got to accept this with yourself, if not with us. Okay, Anterious is not here today because of your actions. Period. However you want to word it, however you want to believe it. Okay, he is not here today because of your actions. At some point, you're gonna have to, man.
That's the thing about even in your statement of I can't believe that, just because you don't want to believe that about yourself, not because it didn't happen. And that's what's unfair to Michelle and the baby is that you're not willing to man up. Well, you're gonna keep telling yourself that, but the reality of it is, you know what you did, exactly what you did, and it's not fair. Okay, it's not fair.
It's like this, man. We're gonna do what we have to do. I'm not mad at you, but I'm damn sure not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna sit here and beg someone to do what they should do at all. Okay? Yeah, I mean, I'm being straight with you, and just understand you had every opportunity today. All right, and just understand this, like I just told you a minute ago. Anterious is dead today because of your actions. Okay? You can sit there and say I didn't do that all day long, Eddie. You can tell yourself that. You can tell us that. All right? That stack of medical paperwork that's that thick right there, it says something completely different. All right? And I guarantee those doctors know more than you do. All right?
Hey, we're coming at you with their information.
Mm-hmm.
We put it together. Yeah, we compile it into a case order. But I didn't go in there and
not one doctor now. Several doctors, including the medical examiner's office, on top of everybody else. Okay? Understand? You got to understand that. Understand that, and then understand your story that you've given, and what the doctors are saying, and all the shit you did that you've already told us today that doesn't add up. This is all jumbled up. It makes you look worse. Is what it's doing. It just makes you look worse. Absolutely worse. It makes you look heartless, man.
no, make it look really hard.
But that's how it makes you look, man. That's what you gotta understand. If you're in our shoes, or in anyone else's shoes that was listening to the story right now, what do you think they would say if we told them that? Oh my God, it's terrible, right? But people understand when they get the real story, and they say, oh man, see, that makes sense.
Society right now, like all the big name people, that's not bad shit. Michael Jackson molested children, but people still forgave him and listened to his music, did he not? Did they not? Lost $30-something million to one of them, so obviously there was something to it, right? Hell, O.J. Simpson killed his wife and her freaking boyfriend, and people still accepted him back into society. They're not, but you know what? You gotta do the right thing, man.
And that's the thing. That's.
What do you think if we take this story, no remorse, okay, no nothing, and present it? Well, what do you think is the problem? I can't tell you. What do you think? You'll remember the whole guy when he gets back enough to tell the mom and the baby how her baby died. What do you think the end result of that?
How do you think it's gonna look when we know the story? I can pretty much probably literally tell you what happened, but it ain't coming out of my mouth. If it ain't coming out of your mouth, you're gonna hear it later. Okay? It's exactly like he's saying. The story is there. The medical records are what they are. There's no arguing it. There's no way that anyone can dispute it.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Well, there's no hard feelings in it, man. Yeah, I'm not mad at you. I think you're making a bigger mistake right now, though.
But I can't convince you that I'm not even gonna go there.
Nope.
But I think that putting your side of the story out there, your remorse, I'm sorry.
It's like I told you earlier, that shows the human side of Eddie,
Yeah, we can't look you in the face and say, Eddie, if you're wrong, if you're wrong. What we can say is, I got to know this information. Say the truth about this. You either told me the truth, had great remorse, and wanted to make the family whole and make them know that you did. Certainly not a malice, it was an accident. Yeah, well, even though despite I could show him clearly something like this happened, he didn't care enough about baby or Michelle to just say, this is what happened. I'm sorry. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to
Alright, let's go back in. You can tell yourself that all day. You can tell yourself that when we leave. Alright? All three of us standing here are fairly intelligent people, including you. I think you're a pretty smart guy. And we know that that's bullshit. Straight up. Okay? We're not sitting here guessing. We're not sitting here hoping that you're going to tell us. There's no question about it.
Eddie, I've never told you anything. But listen, now, will what happened that day, does that make a difference for you? Eddie? Does what happened that day make a difference for you? Absolutely. Does the real story make a difference for you? Absolutely. Are you kidding? Are you saying that it doesn't? You think there's no difference between if you had a big plan going on and you decided to plan this all out for some kind of accident or situation? You think that's different than out of anger, a split second decision, you make a decision that you didn't think would lead to a death, but it does? You don't think that makes a difference for you? Really? You think that makes no difference? That's wrong. That's two different things completely.
You ever heard the term premeditated?
Premeditated first-degree murder versus a lesser crime where you didn't have anything to do, but someone died from it. Are you kidding me? You don't think that makes any difference?
Huge difference.
Huge difference. Why are you just making the automatic assumption you get a life sentence?
So basically what I'm getting from you, Eddie, is
What about there's all kinds of levels, okay?
Yeah.
There's premeditated capital murder, okay? That is all the way up to a death, okay? But then those major charges go all the way down to manslaughter and stuff like that, where you actually you probably shouldn't have took it. You should have known it might have done something bad, right? So I don't know where you're gonna fall because you haven't even told the story. But did you do something when I know which I
Even when I got everybody saw, I wasn't trying to kill nobody. I was trying to tell people to get out my yard.
okay. Well, in this case, you just trying to baby or whatever to stop doing whatever baby was doing, and ultimately it led to something that shouldn't have happened. Maybe it was an accident. I don't know. You never know. But you've decided in your mind that you're going to go for the rest of your life and say the
the things that you're saying right now, Eddie, is not a person that is like a good person like you're saying you are. It's a person who's like, you know what? I'm going to think like a criminal now. I got to think like a criminal. Not, I'm going to think like a dude who made a mistake. They got me. I might as well just tell them. It's better to tell the truth now because they got me dead to rights. We got you, man. Everything that we're telling you, we're not making it up, okay? Now, you're just thinking like a criminal. That's the problem. You know?
good side of any show, and you say, this is what happened. We chose our.
And you know what all that tells me? All that tells me is you didn't give a shit about Anterious. No. I gotta disagree.
You can't even disagree with that. Right now, you're being wrong.
No.
Okay, when we go back and talk on the show, you know what I gotta tell him? You know the story. This is the evidence, right? This is what the evidence shows. This is what we're doing with this evidence. And he didn't have enough in him to say, this is what really happened. I have to tell her that. I don't even, you've not left me with a choice.
And I know she's already asked you what happened that day, too.
Yeah, we're going to have to contradict that completely without even a remorse for it. Well, tell me what you did.
All you keep saying over and over is, I didn't do that.
Every time you think about telling us the truth, that's
I
what
didn't
you
do
do.
that.
Every time you're about to get
Yeah, when we say, tell us what you did, you don't say anything. You know why? Because it's still in the back of your mind. There's just 1% chance that you're not going to get any kind of trouble if you don't tell us what happened. Yeah, we're not here on a fishing expedition. Y'all talked about fishing earlier. We're way past that. You know, we're just basically here to give you your opportunity today to show us that you were sorry for that little mistake, that couple seconds in your entire life that you fucked up. Okay? That's what it is.
it ain't even a mistake. It's a fuck up. It's truly is a fuck up.
And because of it, Anterious is no longer here.
I just wish you could
and
find
you
the
can,
wherewithal inside of you to give something. That's fair, man. Is that not fair?
and I don't even think that's what would get you to tell you the truth, to be honest with you. Because you're not with her. She's with somebody else. You're with somebody else. So I don't even really think you didn't date her that long. So I'm not even going to sit there and say that in your mind you even think you owe her shit at this point. I don't think you do. Nothing in your mind. You owe it to Anterious. You owe it to Anterious, if anybody. Period. Okay? I don't care about what you owe Michelle or anything. Alright? What that pisses me off is Anterious, the one who can't speak for himself. Okay? The one who's not here anymore. That's who you owe it to. I know you wasn't your kid, so I know you couldn't have that same bond that you have. You don't have any children of your own, so right.
See, the real truth.
It's not fair. It's not fair to him. Whether you tell her or not, do you think he deserves it? Well, if you put everything in the right order that you've told us, it'd be different.
It would be. If you just explain the truth.
Impossible. Impossible.
And that's what the report, by the way, said. Verbatim.
Impossible.
Impossible. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll even read that portion.
You got any questions for me? I know I've asked you questions for you. I mean, I can only imagine right now what you probably feel like you're thinking your life's over. You're thinking you're probably going to go to prison for the rest of your life. You're thinking everyone's going to think, oh my God, Eddie's a murderer, and Eddie's a terrible person, and all that shit is going to go through your mind right now. Okay? I'm sure that's all going through your mind. What your family's going to say. What have they been saying all this time? So they've been blaming you already, pretty much? Your own family? Right. Well, the thing is, once all this comes out, we're in jail right now. It's the same thing. And what was their mom, dad, and stuff like that? When they told the whole truth and they came back around, those moms and dads are still there. Alright, because there was closure to the whole deal. Even the last one we did, his mom is a huge proponent of this right now. Yep. And even helping him through the legal process, and because he came in straight up, man, it was the same scenario, man. But he never got any sleep, man, and had a ton of shit going on in his life other than already having to deal with kids and everything, you know. And I'm sure there's probably more going on that we don't know about that you haven't told us, you know, to add more stress on top of everything else. That place was a shithole, man. You know, I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. That place sucks, man. And I have to live like that. You got no job. Just trying to hustle to make $1. I know he asked you earlier what he did. I know you sold a little bit trying to hustle or whatever, you know? Who cares? Whatever, man. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't rely on who wants to babysit kids all day, every day, and rely on a woman who's never hardly there and living in a shit hole of a place. You know? That sucks, man. That just sucks.
It does suck, though, but you were putting up with that. You gotta have some love for that family.
And
Let me see that
this whole time I truly thought you cared about Anterious up until just 10 minutes ago. Until 10 minutes ago.
I agree with that. I thought you cared enough about it to make it right.
I mean, I don't care if you feel like you owe Michelle shit. But Anterious, yeah, it's the other one. There's things called stressors in people's life, and we've already identified tons of them. You live in a shitty place. You hadn't had any sleep. You're dealing with 2 kids in our ears. You don't have a job. There's no food in the fucking refrigerator. Okay, any 1 or 2 of those is enough to make somebody just lose their mind for a second. Okay, you take 5, 6 of them together, it's almost going to happen no matter what.
This is what we're asking for an explanation for. Okay, this is what the doctor said. All right. The child's life-threatening brain injury was intracranial, bleeding in multiple sites, and severe cerebral or diagnostic of abusive head trauma. The mechanism of injury would have included some combination of violent shaking under blunt plus trauma to the head. Okay. The bruising to the neck is consistent with the history provided by the sibling. Blah blah blah. We are absolutely 110% not allowed to show you the documentation that looks official unless it's real. Okay? If we do, then everything that we would get from that would be irrelevant anyways. Alright, this is a real document. That's the real conclusion. Do you understand that?
I'm not showing anything else. He should believe us at this point. We've proven you enough, and I'm not going to sit here and lay out this whole case to you, because I shouldn't have to, okay? I really shouldn't have to do this much to tell the truth about something that dead right now.
Strictly from the law enforcement, not from you right now, but from law enforcement standpoint, you're dead right, bro.
So what were you so scared of that day then? Why were you scared to call the police? So you were afraid? Yeah.
For a misdemeanor or anybody has a right mind and believe that. If that would be worse than what we're talking about. At least if you got pissed off and did something bad, I'd really do that and not call for a misdemeanor.
Please tell me that's not true. You didn't what? You didn't think he was going to die? So when he stopped breathing, you put him in the shower, he's turning blue and all, you thought he was going to make it?
That's when I started getting the phone ready, so I called. When he stopped breathing on the couch, you didn't think he was going to die? You see what I'm saying? I'm almost more offended by that than I am the way you could have possibly done it.
Yeah, I hope that's not true, Eddie, that you truly didn't call because you got a misdemeanor warrant.
I'd like you to
That's terrible.
about that. Did you really not call because of the misdemeanor warrant, Brent? Come on. You would let a child die for a misdemeanor warrant. I don't know. If my impression is completely wrong with you, that's what we're talking about. I don't know, let him die. That's what I called. He did die.
You did let him die.
Even though we know now, months later, he would have died anyway.
Didn't know that then.
Didn't know
There's
that
no way
then.
he would have done.
You know what I'm saying? We know he would have died from the injury that he sustained from you, based on what the doctors and the medical examiner and everybody else told us.
So if we're going with your story now, that you just woke up, Anterious is on the couch flailing, and he's breathing for a second, and he immediately stops breathing, right? And then you tell him, you said he stopped breathing after that. That's what you said. I'm not putting words in your mouth, right? You said, yeah, that's what you said. Stomach was at the table, he stopped breathing, right? From the minute you got off the recliner, got over there, all that happened.
His stomach was already hard. He was just
Okay. And then you say you stopped breathing at that point. And then you go through a minimum of 10 to 20 minutes of shit that you do before you ever call 911. And if you're going to sit here now and you're telling me that the reason why that 10 to 20 minutes happened is because of a misdemeanor warrant you have, that everything I thought about you is completely wrong up to now. Okay? I'll tell you to your face that you didn't give a shit about him or anybody else if that's true.
I agree with that, right?
I'm straight up. If that's really the truth, that's crazy to me. That's crazy.
At that point, that baby died and you were calling 911 because you have a misdemeanor warrant, because you might spend 10 days in jail.
Is that true? That's true. Well, then, I mean, there's no point. And then you've proven right there you don't care about Anterious, so. No. You don't.
You gotta understand where we're coming from.
No, I mean, that right there proves to me that.
It didn't seem like it did. Because that's how selfish and self-concerned you were.
And you still are right now. That's the thing.
But I will honestly tell you that you're still putting that out there as a defense. I still don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I still don't believe you. But you understand what we're trying to say. That would
By you saying that, because I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're saying. It's making it even worse. Every time you think you're making yourself look better, it's making it worse. Okay. The true reason why you didn't call is because you fucked up. You were scared to get in trouble, and you were trying to figure out what the hell you're going to do to fix it. When you realized that there's nothing you could do to fix it, plenty of time already done by Anterious had been dead, okay, before you ever called. There was, even if the phone was dead, it doesn't take but seconds for it to power up when it's plugged in, number one. So that's bullshit. Or if it was really that big of an issue, anybody would have grabbed that baby and ran outside, which you tried to lie already and say you did, and then we already know that didn't happen. So nice try, but talk to the neighbor. All this shit that you said from the last time.
You understand how this little line?
You said you ran outside and said, well, before you said that,
if you don't think it's recorded, the room is recorded.
yeah, I mean, you said you ran outside after I called you out earlier and said, well, why wouldn't you done this? You said you did do that. Okay, I understand what you're trying to do. Oh, I know you didn't do it.
Those are all the little lies that hurt your overall story. And also, you take the fact that you're the only one there, the only one that could have done it. You're the boyfriend, you got members, I've lied multiple times. And you know what? There's other people that have ultimately ended a child's life, and almost all of them love the baby. Yeah. Almost all of them love that child. If you love the child, the only thing you can do at this point is you already did something to end the child's life. Get a man up. Do the right thing.
Like I said, I am mad at you, man. Alright? I'm mad at you. Alright, man. Good luck to you.
Yep.
Hang tight here, though. Alright?
Hey, let's go on that, man.
Alright.
And change your mind and you think it's the right thing to do when you're going to tell us the truth. I'll call us down there for that bull crap or another one. Alright? If it ain't the truth,
You change your mind while you're sitting here, man.
call. Tell one of them that you want to speak to us and we'll come back over here. You understand?
So that's the end of the police interview, and if you made it this far, thank you so much. I know the sound was unbearable. So let me break down to you what actually happened. I'll just read out this report to you. So when Eddie called 911, ambulance and the police came. A physician at the hospital, let me read it out to you, determined that Anterious had suffered abusive head trauma caused in part by violent shaking and a blow to the head. The autopsy found that the toddler had fluid and bleeding on the brain as well as bruising. The death was ruled a homicide, and it was determined that the head injuries were the cause. Why Eddie did this, we don't know, but he was sentenced to 20 years in prison and he's scheduled to be released in 2033. Comment, tell me what you think.